It's the dream.
Alright, everyone ready to go?
Ready?
Alright, perfect. Hello, welcome back to the No Objective Podcast. Again, this is your host Juan. With me, as usual, I have Emil and Kunal. How you guys
Hi.
doing?
What up?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Doing great.
So today's kind of subject or that we're going to be talking about is procrastination. Something I feel like we're all pretty much familiar with, especially the three of us.
Yes, we are.
You know what's ironic is that we were supposed to record this podcast an hour ago, but I was
Yep.
procrastinating. So
Which is weird, oddly enough, though, because I use the podcast to procrastinate on other stuff, and you procrastinated on my procrastination.
Damn. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
procrastinating currently because I should be studying for an exam that I have tomorrow.
there's levels to this shit, man.
There's levels to this shit. So, Kunal, this is your idea. So, you would start us off. Where
So-
are we
yeah.
going with this?
I mean, I don't have like a direction, but I just wanted to say that I'm procrastinating right now, even though I have an exam tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
What is it on? What's your exam on?
Financial accounting.
Oh my god, that sounds gross.
It's horrible. It's nasty.
You.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Why are you even taking that? What is that for?
It's part of my study, so I don't really have a choice.
Oh, one of those. It's like the required courses and shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn, dude. No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Procrastination is like the number one struggle I have with like all my courses and shit.
Yes, and lack of motivation.
It's
But
hard
yeah,
to
but
like.
it's always like more motivating to do it like the night before, you know?
That's
then you-
true.
Then you got the drive. You're like, okay, let me finish this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
because you have
stay up
no
until
fucking
3.
choice though.
but then there's
Right.
some people that can't work well under pressure. So
It's kind of like throwing a child into a pool to teach it how to swim.
Sink or swim,
What?
bitch. I don't think that's the exact definition, but it's accurate, but it's not the one I want to present.
Okay, well, what do you want to present?
No, it's pretty accurate. It's just like you don't want to fucking be throwing children
yeah,
into fucking
okay.
ponds and shit. They'd be
I say
severely fucked up.
natural selection is a better.
Natural selection.
Yeah,
Well, it's
better.
true. It's true. If you can't fucking push out diamonds a night,
Diamonds
Before,
are created under pressure.
there you go.
Exactly.
If you can't do it like before something's due, then man, fuck, you're gonna be fucked in the future, right?
Yeah.
This is done. But everyone does it, man. Like everyone's procrastinates. So this is one of those weird things that everyone does and has in common.
I'm just a fucking king at it. That's it.
Yeah. My question is, like, what does how does the procrastination happen, or like how does it affect the more important you become in life? You know, like does a president procrastinate, or like a fucking
I would hope not.
They have to though. Like it has to happen at some point. And you know, like you imagine it's like some important trade deal that's gonna decide the fate of millions, and he's just like, oh fuck, man, I kind of want to finish the show on Netflix and stuff.
Damn.
Like people gotta procrastinate. Like everyone procrastinates. It would be hilarious to me to find out how like people of importance procrastinate.
Bro, if the
Yeah.
president procrastinated like that,
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up how much the president procrastinates.
That
I
doesn't
mean,
even have to be a president. Like it doesn't even have to be like a president.
could
Just
be
anyone
like a
who holds
CEO
like
of,
a CEO.
yeah.
Like let's say
CEOs just go like on their yachts and shit and have meetings from there, you know? They're,
Yeah.
they're
That's
constantly
how
just having meetings.
they just
Pretty much,
procrastinate.
yeah.
They don't even like work.
I know Elon Musk
Oh.
is like the only one that I've heard that like that's not even like a word in his vocabulary. He's just like nonstop working and shit.
Supposedly.
Like that
yes.
guy's insane.
Yeah,
But
well,
there's
yeah.
others where I'm just thinking, how the fuck do you not procrastinate? Like at some point, someone must have procrastinated on some shit.
Yeah. Imagine like the Tesla Model Y.
Dude, like
Fucking Elon Musk procrastinating
Did
till
you
the
see
last
every
second.
the
iPhones
picture? Did you see the meme
or
that
what?
Elon Musk himself made the meme?
The
Um,
what?
the of the Tesla models, there's Model S, Model E,
Oh,
Model
XEY.
X, and Model Y, and he put them in order like that.
It's Model
Spell
3.
out
Yeah, yeah. S3 XY.
three, and then it's spelled out. You know,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
our favorite word.
Uh, damn.
Uh,
Pull out
What's
inside jokes into the fucking podcast.
fucking podcast? What's the worst way to procrastinate though? I'm think about. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess for most of us is like watching a show on Netflix or something, or like a bunch of YouTube videos.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I do. Watch you, but it's a lot of the times the YouTube videos I watch is not really like waste of my time because I'm learning something.
No, okay, I see what you mean. Watch a lot
So,
of like the educational videos and stuff.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. I see you. Yeah, it's important too. You can't just be book smart. You gotta like
Gotta be
have
street
other
smart too.
informations and shit like that. Yeah, I get it. That
That's
makes
what I do.
sense.
So technically, it's not procrastination completely, if that makes sense.
Well, no, I just procrastinate. I just admit I procrastinate, and I do nothing of value. Um, I just want to avoid doing as much work as possible, and
Yes.
yeah, that's basically it.
Damn. Okay.
Which is
Do you,
not good. I should fix that.
do you think a
Yeah.
lot of procrastinations come recently because of like streaming sites and stuff?
Streaming sites.
Yeah,
Streaming sites like what?
like
Like
YouTube and
Twitch and
Netflix. Well, like
yes.
video. Okay, like it, and well, there's the other, very popular video sites
Oh,
that
yeah,
everyone
okay.
procrastinates with.
Well, they help. They help.
Yep.
They do help.
You ever procrastinated on procrastinating?
How does that work?
Mm, yeah.
I like let's say like for example, to procrastinate on me studying for something, I would go like make food or like something to eat, and then I would get distracted and procrastinate on making my food by watching YouTube videos then, or instead playing on my guitar. So I'm procrastinating eating my food so that I can and that's my procrastination to be able to like get to work.
Um,
I kind of
I'm
do
sure I
that.
have. Yeah,
I
Or like
definitely do that
sure I
actually.
have. Because all I do is procrastinate. So
such an innate thing too. It's like I want to do this. It's good to the point where I'll do something that's even more physically or mentally challenging to do, rather than the thing that I have to do.
Yeah, that's so true. Jesus.
Like I'll go into a 3 hour study session before I'll make a call for an appointment or something that takes like 5 minutes to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I was supposed to write like a whole page of notes, and I basically didn't. So my notes are way behind.
I was supposed to be studying since like 2, 3 weeks ago, but I basically didn't, so I'm doing it on the night before the exam.
Oh, exams are bullshit, anyways.
That's really bad.
Facts. That is horrible, I know.
Fuck.
Fuck the education system, and fuck me too.
We were raised to believe that studying the night before the exam is all you have to do.
Well, at the time, that's all I had to do. Like it wasn't so
Yeah,
Wasn't
hard
too
to
it
bad.
study.
wasn't
Yeah.
hard.
Back then, yeah.
Now I actually have to know the shit.
Yeah.
And it's so much
Bullshit.
harder. A lot of bullshit, man. Oh, dude. A lot more drinking in my procrastination nowadays too.
Um,
It's
No,
weird.
I don't drink anymore. Like
Are you vegan too?
the last few
Gluten-free vegan.
experience
Gluten free?
the last few
You do
experiences.
CrossFit?
I actually did do CrossFit today,
Oh,
Oh,
which is which is at least a good form of procrastination. Well,
working out.
can
yeah,
you do
that's a form
CrossFit?
of procrastination.
You just
Hmm.
start drinking at Starbucks too?
Hell no. Fuck that shit. That shit's for white people. That shit's for, you know,
What you, what you just said, yeah.
let's not stereotype.
That's not stereotype.
But
That's good.
Let's not stereotype, but Starbucks is for white people. So.
dude, friggin' coffee
Because
stands
you know how
here
I
is
know
like,
that? Sorry,
oh,
like you know how I know that because
How do you
so
know that?
like a couple of black people came in there just to use the bathroom or something, and they actually got the police called on them.
oh, I remember
Damn.
that story.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was in the U.S., I believe. There was like these two guys who were just waiting for a friend, so they could hang out, and the Starbucks employee started complaining about it and called the police on them because they hadn't bought anything.
Damn. That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, it was this crazy thing. I think they eventually resolved it or something,
That's
but
good.
it
That's
was
good.
a but like other people don't get so lucky, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
To, crazy amount of university students go to get coffee though.
Coffee.
Every
I still have not drank coffee in my life.
no, you shouldn't, man. It's garbage. It's all tastes like garbage.
It tastes like
I've
It
dirt to
smells
me.
like garbage, so I know it tastes like
It
garbage.
tastes like dirt.
I actually like the smell.
No, sorry.
The
I actually
smell
like
is
this.
fine, but I
Smells
mean,
fine.
it tastes
Actually,
like
I take
trash.
back my apology. I'm not sorry.
You're not sorry.
Smells like ass. Probably tastes like ass too.
It's just I just don't like I just don't like the taste. That's all it is. I don't like the pretentiousness and stuff like how much people like order into their fucking coffee. Just like I honestly would just rather have just like give me a cup of coffee. I don't like whatever is in it is in it.
Really?
If I were going to do it, if I were to get
Oh,
a cup,
okay.
like whenever you hear people order it, it's the most
Taking
pretentious thing in the fucking world. It sucks.
taking coffee to stay awake is like for like virgins.
What?
What?
How does that make
Like
sense?
take caffeine pills, bitch.
What, what are you talking about?
If you want to stay awake, like, instead of just drinking something that tastes like garbage, why don't you just take a caffeine pill?
Because I'm pretty sure it's different. Like there's like a different degree of like how much caffeine there is in a caffeine pill. Other people and also people just like drinking like shit. They just drinking coffee.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
like the
Why would you
taste.
take a pill instead of
Why would you
drinking?
It's like ass.
just fucking?
If needed to stay awake, then I would opt
What
for
if
a
you
pill.
what if you take the pill and wash it down with coffee?
Damn. Or like Monster
Overdose
Energy
of
drink
caffeine
or
and
some
die.
shit.
Yeah,
Dude,
Like,
can you overdose on caffeine?
yeah, you
That's
can.
probably a thing.
Like 10 grams, you overdose. But 10 grams is hard to get to ingest in coffee, you know?
I'm sure people
how
like
many cups of coffee would be like 10 grams?
Was it 10 or 100 grams?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how much it would be.
I gotta know this. Fuck.
I don't drink coffee, so I wouldn't know. And caffeine's here. Dude, that's okay. Let me go on a little rant here. That's the weirdest thing that I've really learned about since university, is that the majority of people die from like the smallest like minute things. Like you know what's like the number one like killer of people like, which is heart disease and shit like that. The number one killer of this shit is just salt. It's just regular ass table salt. This is like
Yeah.
this thing kills millions of people every year just because they've had
Salt?
too much. Yeah.
Oh, like so. Okay, I see.
Like over time you have a lot of salt and that shit kills you.
Jesus.
Salt and sugar because diabetes is the other thing.
Damn.
Like everyday shit can over time it will just fucking kill you, and that's what kills the majority of people.
Heart disease?
Heart disease.
It's Pretty
Yeah, that's
screwed up.
probably true. And then the second is probably lung cancer or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
that's
fucked up.
it's crazy. Like people are like voluntary. The whole thing with cigarettes and shit. It's like people know they're fucked up and they fuck up your lungs. That doesn't stop them from doing it. They don't give a fuck.
No, their argument is usually like you only live once, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
why would you actively like harm your body just to temporarily feel good?
Because you
Like,
only live once.
and you're like harming your body, and it's like irreversible, you know?
Because you only live once.
because you only live once.
Exactly.
So why fuck up the only life you have?
Because you only live
Dude, that's the other. Well, you could take it the whole like complete opposite direction. It's like you only live once to everything that might kill you, or if you only live once, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta protect
Exactly.
yourself from everything
Both are
that might
lot,
kill you.
both are feasible um, conclusions to take from the same we only live once type of thing. Like you could either
That kind
say,
of thinking. Yeah.
all right, this is the only life I have. I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck. And or you could say, oh, this is the only life, so I have to protect it. You know.
Mm.
Yep. But people say you only live once, so do what you gotta do.
I'm not telling people what to do, but just do what we do.
Don't do drugs, kids.
I mean, if you do it, just do a little bit.
If you do, try PCP, angel dust.
What the fuck?
Angel dust. It's like a party drug, and your eye it makes your eyes like basically move in different directions like a chameleon.
That is insane. That is actually freaky.
That is, yeah, that
That's
is.
crazy.
Yeah. Do actually if you're gonna be a degenerate and do drugs,
Actually, we do not
do the
condone
do the
drugs.
most deadly drug there is out there.
Why?
What?
Why are we
Why?
condoning this?
Because overpopulation is a serious problem, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to Emil. Emil is a fucking dictator in disguise. Genocidal maniac.
Yes, yes, he is.
Yeah, in all
No.
seriousness, I'm in favor of like using drugs, but I mean, there's no reason to use shit like cocaine when you know.
You know they used to put that shit into like actual Coke bottles?
Yes.
That's probably why it's called coke.
Yeah. It's
Go.
crazy. And then friggin' meth used to be sold regularly as cough drops.
That's some great news. Wow. I actually did not know
Like
that.
they used to do that, yeah. It was crazy. It's like people felt better, yeah, because they're not feeling anything at all.
Damn, that's fucked up.
I think heroin also just used to be sold.
Yeah. It's like over time people figure out like, oh, okay, maybe this thing is not the thing we want to put into just regularly sold bottles of medicine.
Exactly. I don't know. Why would they do this?
It'd be weird if you're like the first person to ever get high off that thing though.
Damn.
Imagine the experience you would have.
I don't know how good or bad would you feel.
Oh yeah, Kunal, did you hear of DMT?
I mean, I saw you guys talking about it, but I don't know
Yeah,
what the fuck was
yeah,
going
right.
on.
So it's
Yeah.
basically DMT is dimethyl tryptamine or something like that, and
Okay.
it it's like a chemical that's regularly found in the human body and is produced by the human body and also many animals.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take it exogenously too, so that what exogenously means is like from outside the body, they synthesize it in a lab, and you can take that as a pill or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And then you basically see like demons and aliens and leprechauns and all of that shit.
What the fuck?
And then some people say, well, what you're seeing is actually another dimension, or what if what you're seeing is actually like the real world as it is like what's actually going on, and we just can't see it without DMT. And
How?
what do you
Like
guys think about that?
like we can't see like this is the
It's
Matrix
like
kind of like in that kind of like a Matrix scenario where what we're seeing is not like the real thing, but you take this drug and then you're seeing like the actual shit and it's like all
Yeah.
fucked up.
Are you guys on the side of like, okay, these drugs are actually revealing what's actually going on, or are you guys on the side of like, this drug is just altering your consciousness, and it's flooding your brain with chemicals that makes you believe shit that's not actually there?
well, obviously you're going into a new dimension. Fuck.
Well,
Uh,
the thing is like okay, what makes me crazy about this, I know it sounds insane. I'm kind of on the fence on this one because there's this theory that goes around, and this is not a scientific theory. This is like a theory shit. It's not proven, but I can see where the thinking comes from. We actually are in a simulation, but not in the way that people think, like not like Matrix. I think the way it goes is that computers over time uh have to become like have to over time just develop more calculating power. Basically, they can do more calculations and stuff. And so there has to be at some point a moment where they can have to be able to like simulate human life, just because then that will be like the pinnacle of like I guess computer smarts. And then that's the theory is that we all already are in that computer simulated world that already exists, and we're not actually in the real world. This is the computer simulation, and outside of this conscious, like outside, that's why we don't understand consciousness, because outside of this consciousness is the actual real world, and we're in simulation. And the more you learn about computer science theory and stuff, the less crazy it sounds. It's hard to explain. I would suggest people read on it because it's
you're
actually really
you're
interesting.
but you're learning about computer science.
I am learning about computer science. That's why.
So would you say the universe works like a computer?
It's crazy how many patterns just show up in the world.
Like what?
Like especially in math. In math, there's a lot of even though we invented just math, over time things kind of develop and are discovered. And shit just like there's just a bunch of patterns and stuff. I don't know if I can say any on the top of
I
my
kind
head.
of get it. I kind of get the math thing. Okay.
Like one example I guess would be like the length of pi. There's another very famous number that keeps shows up a lot in computer science. I don't remember what it was, but it's just like some kind of calculation.
Rule 34?
Jesus, no.
69.
69 definitely shows up, I think. But no, it's like weird patterns and stuff that just show up in everyday life that might seem like it might just be a coincidence, but at the same time, they happen so often.
Yeah.
Like it's
I,
some certain things are too perfect.
I think people fall
It's
into
God.
I think people fall into that trap a lot. Like this seems like too much of a coincidence for me to comprehend.
Yeah.
It being a coincidence, so it must be something else. It
Mm.
can't be a coincidence. But that's like it's a trap that people fall in. I think anyway.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a trap that a lot of the time people fall in. But the coincidences that I find are more I guess a bit more abstract. That just have to do with like with the way of thinking. But it's not it's not unprecedented. If we were in a like for me, if we were in a simulation, I would be. I'm to say if that were a simulation, I'd be like 50% right now. It's just it's kind of viable, really, to say. But at the same time, even if we were in a simulation, it wouldn't matter. It does like it
Because
doesn't
we're never gonna get out of the simulation, and
exactly. So
we're never
honestly, yeah, just keep
There's
like
no
the whole thing
point.
is just
What's
no
the
just
point
keep.
anymore?
uh,
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
nihilist.
But yeah, I feel you.
No, just live out your life in a good way.
Yeah, basically
That's
don't
kind
do
of my
drugs,
take of it.
kids.
It's
Don't do
like
drugs.
it's
That was
like
the whole point. Don't do drugs.
if we're basically all Sims.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen a sim? How fucking dumb that shit looks. Like, just helpless, utterly helpless to what
You're
the
talking
player
about the game.
wants.
You're talking about the
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Yeah, the Sim.
the
For
game.
those who know the game Sims, yeah.
Yeah, the Sims, like the simulation game.
Yeah.
Like you create a family and shit, whatever, and you basically control what happens in like um with your Sims. Yeah, you control them, but they at the same time like we could be. What you're basically saying is that could be us.
Well,
Yep,
I
pretty
think
much.
the difference is that we're not being controlled. In this scenario, and like the whole we're in a simulation. In that scenario, people I guess still kind of have free will. They're not being controlled into doing anything because it's a simulation of what actual life would be like. And to get accurate readings on that, you can't be allowed to control it because then that ruins the whole purpose.
So
This is a
Oh,
it's
si-
okay.
like
this
if you
is
create your Sims and then just don't do anything, just
Don't
leave
do
them
anything. Let
for
or
them
the
do
just
way
let
what
it
they
on.
just
want
let
to do.
yeah, pretty much.
If,
Because
yeah, but
if
a
you
sim will
control it,
never
and
know.
a sim would never know. No,
Right.
a sim would never, and it wouldn't need to know either. There's not much to gain from knowing.
If we knew we were in a simulation, then what would be the next step? Try and get out of it?
Probably not. It's like because if you get out of it, then there's no tangible way of knowing if there's any outside of it. There's no tangible way of knowing what is there, even if there is anything at all.
But at the same time, I think it's against human nature to be like, okay, it's not against human nature. I think it's wrong to say like, okay, we'll never know this subject, so we just have to stop trying to know it
It. I think the more philosophy is like, why do we need to know?
because that's our nature.
Because we need
That's
to know
no, but like
everything.
you gotta give an explanation. There's like why. If let me put in an example. So it's like if let's say if we were in a simulation.
Yes.
So like, I guess it's like the what do you value more of your because you still have an autonomy and free will here in the simulation. It's not like you're being controlled into anything. You just happen to be in the simulation, right?
Right.
If you get out of it, you still have free will but you're just not in the simulation.
But then what would change?
That's my question. It's like is it worth exchanging the simulation, which is safety, not safety, sorry, like things that you know into an unknown world?
And then how do you know that the other simulation is not a simulation?
Damn.
That you don't. It's like one of those things you genuinely don't know, and that's why the question arises, like, why would you want to know? Because there's also the chance that it's not a simulation and this is like actual real life.
If I
Should you
had nothing to
spend
lose, I would get out.
if you would spend like that's the thing, it could or could not be a simulation. Should you spend your entire life trying to figure out if this is a simulation or not?
What?
Yeah. So, should you
That's
spend your entire life trying to figure out if this is a simulation or not?
yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's kind of the conclusion that I got to. It's like we have to think about, are we like, if there was a simulation, should we spend our lives trying to figure out and trying to get out, even though there's still the possibility that it's not? And there's like he commented, was like, you know what, like I don't feel the need to know no more once you frame it that way.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess. Well, no individ to know it, like we all have to um we all have to try and figure it out together as humans.
Yeah.
But do we
I,
want to?
But
is it,
on but
yeah,
on the
do we want
individual
to?
but on the individual level, there's no point.
That's the thing, is like, do we want to find out about it? Because what do we do with it once we do find out? It's like, what do you do once, like, let's say once you break out, what do you do with that? Like, what do you
We
do with that
break the
life then?
fourth wall. We break the
Just get
fourth
out.
wall. We say, "Hey, we know we're in a simulation now. We have the
And
evidence."
and then
And
what?
then and
What do you
then
gain from
maybe
it?
and then maybe the people or the entities, if there are entities even, that are controlling the simulation,
Mm-hmm.
um, would do something. I don't know.
But I think, like,
Maybe that's a test we gotta pass.
in the simulation though, you don't want to control anything. You know what I mean? It's like a science experiment. You're trying to figure out what is gonna happen once shit is left to its own devices. If you start prodding and pulling stuff like together, then it's no longer an experiment. Now you're just shifting a result into something that you want.
But
So
okay,
if it's simulation now, they're not controlling you. They're not controlling anything. They're just setting up the scenario and seeing what happens.
yeah, but um, we're like a science project,
Yeah,
and we're like a mouse scurrying through mazes and shit. The mouse doesn't know. Well, I guess I don't know. The mouse is just doing what it does. We're just doing what we do.
yeah.
What if what we have to do is find out that we're in a simulation, and then once we find that out, then the simulation is um,
Over.
over.
So everything you've known, holy shit, bro.
So
Everything
everything
you've
you
known is done. Gone. Just like that. At least,
Yeah,
I
I
guess. So
think
like if it were
just
me,
keep the fucking simulation going.
bro, that's
we all
fucking trippy.
pre-programmed.
Cause like imagine your parents are not real. It's just all a simulation, and you're the only thing that's real.
Dude, if you're into like this kind of stuff, watch Black Mirror. It'll fuck with your head. It's
Oh
on
yeah.
Netflix, man. That shit is
Also,
crazy.
do you guys believe in predestined fate, or do you guys just believe everything's random?
Predestined fate.
What the fuck is predestined fate? Like your
So
fucking
so
future is written?
everything is set for you since the moment
Oh
you were
no,
born.
no, I don't.
But there's this thing, um, this kind of I don't know, it's like a theory, philosophical theory, that everything is kind of predestined in a way, and only in the fact that one event causes another event, causes another event, causes another event, right?
Okay.
So from the day you were born, you're influenced by previous events and environments, right?
Yes.
So every life choice that you make may not necessarily be something that you're choosing. It's just you're choosing it in that way because of your environment that you grew up with or events that happened in the past.
All right.
Like
Uh,
it's a psychological thing where it's
Well, I could choose to just kill someone right now. It
yeah.
drastically changed my life, but I won't.
You can choose to kill a person, but it's previous things that happened before that made you choose to kill a person. Like
It's kind of like Sorry, go
it's
on.
let me put it this way. It's me starting this conversation which gave you the idea to kill a person and then choose to kill a person. Then technically you didn't choose to kill a person. It was from this previous event that predestined you from choosing to kill a person.
but he could have said anything.
It's kind of like when you have clothes on and you're walking near a body of water,
Hmm.
and you're like, I could just jump in right now.
Yeah, and but it's
You
like
go you go to jump in, but something's holding you back.
but that's the thing. It's like what is that the thing holding you back? Could just be your upbringing. Maybe you just grew up with your mom saying, "Hey, don't ever fucking jump into a pond or in the water,
Yeah, any water really, with your
any
clothes on.
water."
Yeah,
Yeah, well, like because you were raised that way, right? You were raised
yeah,
to like not do that shit.
yeah.
So did you
Pretty
actually
much.
choose not to go in there? Do you
Technically
just have
speaking,
this?
no.
Do you have the or do you, like that's the thing? It's and in that and because of that, people don't actually have a choice. thus rendering any consequences for choices is pointless.
Yo, this is beautiful. We just made some progress here.
It's a crazy theory, but it there's some sense to it. The only thing is that we don't understand people's psychology enough to know if this is like a real thing or not. And it's only a philosophy thing.
Psychology is the brain trying to understand itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And is that
It's
even
behavior.
possible? I think it is possible.
You think it is? I think
Yeah.
to an extent, not completely for sure.
Like how? Because I know I'm gonna like a lot of people don't think this, but in actuality, your thoughts are just electrical impulses, and
Yep.
maybe some chemical impulses.
And chemicals. Yeah.
But then, how do you go from just an impulse of electricity to having abstract thoughts about things?
Well, that's what consciousness is, and that's the one part of it that people still don't know. There's a lot of consciousness that people don't about consciousness that people don't know about, and we're
Well,
trying to figure it out because we don't even know what consciousness is in reality.
but in reality, the people who don't believe, like the people who say, okay, this is way too complex to just be chemicals and electrical impulses, those are like they are using the irreducible complexity argument, which is a false, which is a fallacious argument, and
Okay, you have to explain a bit more than that because you just used a bunch of words. I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Exactly.
irreducible complexity means that this is way too complex to happen on its own, so it must have some other higher explanation.
Okay.
This
Okay.
this is too complex for me to understand personally, so it must be something else. Must be something more complicated
Mm.
All right.
that's
Yep.
causing it. So when I say to someone, you know, a soul doesn't actually exist. It's just your consciousness just comes from your your physical body producing electrical impulses and chemicals in your brain, and then
Mm.
they say but that's ridiculous, or that or how could just electrical impulses and chemical impulses cause all of this, cause all consciousness basically.
Yeah.
We don't know how, but that's the only thing that's the only things that we know happen.
Well, I think here's where this argument comes in. The argument is if it were actually that irreducible facts, though, we would already have computers that are basically human. Because you would just remake those exact components, and then you would have a completely different being. You would have created life essentially with a computer. There's something of a concept of consciousness that we still don't understand and don't know how to implement, if at all we will ever be. If maybe it's just innate to us and to other actual living things. Uh, that is that is consciousness. We just don't understand it, or maybe we will never.
And I think
Yeah.
that's where the soul comes in, because people just say that we have a soul, and I personally don't believe in a soul, because why just put something even more complex to answer a question we don't have the answer to?
I think
You're just creating more questions.
I think a soul is just a bad, not a bad word. It's like it's an incorrect word of saying, but the concept of it makes sense to me. Of because everyone thinks a soul in the sense of like, oh, you have this spirit thing that once you die, it will be released or something like that, and there's the heaven thing and everything. I think in more of a basic level, your soul is your consciousness. It's nothing more powerful or from beyond, uh, or fantastical or anything like that. It's just that one aspect of a person that just makes them them. So
Okay.
in that
Okay.
sense a soul.
So
Okay,
it's
so a
basically
soul.
just another name for consciousness.
So for consciousness, basically, yeah.
Then
Okay.
you should use consciousness if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Or also if you're but you also mentioned that soul means like what makes a person, and so that means their personality and all of those things too, right?
No, okay, not necessarily the personality. It's like it's what makes them. I wouldn't say living, because even like it's what allows them to interact and stuff. It was allows them to even have these thoughts of what is a soul, basically. Because for example, like a bear out in the woods is not questioning why it's a bear doing shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
there's something different about their like a higher intelligence
So you
that
would
makes
say
it
a bear
question
does not
itself.
have a soul.
It does it to a certain degree. It doesn't have that level of consciousness.
I think what the word you're looking for is
Self
um,
awareness,
sapience.
sapience. What does that mean?
So yeah, self awareness.
Self awareness. Yeah. There's self awareness basically, which is what I would say the soul is, because it's a bit more than consciousness.
Okay.
All right, I feel you.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of arguments about like against the existence of an actual soul. Like for example, like some I heard someone say to me like like a soul is basically your personality and what makes you you and etc.
Yeah.
But and I in this subject at least I'm like very physicalist
Hmm.
and shit. Like I just believe um your consciousness comes from your body because your
Yeah.
brain is your and the mind and the body are one thing.
And I agree. I agree.
And but other people would say no, there's the mind and the body are separate things, and the soul is what's connecting those two things.
Yeah. No, I agree with you in the sense where it's like it's not a separation. It's like one and the same.
Because
And I
yeah,
did,
yeah,
yeah,
if you
because yeah, it is a bio. It's like it's there. It's a biological thing for sure.
if you
Whatever
hit your head
consciousness
really
is,
hard, right? If you hit your head
yeah.
really hard, you experience trauma. Some people when they experience head trauma, they have personality changes. So does that mean that their soul also changed?
No,
Their
that's
mind,
again.
their
That's
body
why.
changed. So
That's
therefore their mind
why.
changed.
Yeah, that's why I said what I meant by soul was not your personality or anything like. It's what again. It's the self awareness. It's what makes you understand that you're a person.
So a vegetable wouldn't have a soul.
Yeah, it's
But
alive. It's like a growing tree or anything like that. It's alive.
doesn't have a consciousness.
No, I mean a person that
Oh my
would.
fucking
Oh my
god.
fucking god, dude!
You're such an
You're
asshole.
dumbass.
Jesus.
I mean a person.
You
I mean a
piece of
person.
shit.
A person that's
Cut
like
this out.
in a coma
Oh
and
my
shit.
god.
Jesus.
Why? What's wrong with you?
Okay,
I
he's
mean,
officially kicked.
would they have a soul or not?
So Kunal, what do you think about this? What do you think about like this whole consciousness thing?
You guys thought I meant like a potato or some shit.
So Kunal, what do you think
What the fuck?
It's
about all this?
I think it's very interesting. I also personally don't believe in a soul in the way most people put it these days.
Yeah.
But like yeah, of course I do believe in uh like a consciousness and how that makes a person a person.
Yeah.
The thing you were explaining basically.
Yeah. That's great. It's crazy because there's things we still haven't been able to explain. Like for the one a good example is people still don't know why we need sleep or why we at least why we do it. Why we know why we need it, but we don't know why we do it.
Right.
It's something about it's something about it resting us, but not we don't know why it rests us or like it rejuvenates us. We know why we need it, but we don't know like what it is exactly. It's like what is sleep and how does it do what it does?
I think there are already theories about that.
There's
think that,
theories, but there's no like objective answer to it.
yeah.
To like what is sleep to it, like to a person. People barely understand what a dream is. Basically, that's another thing.
Yeah,
Some
that's
people say
crazy.
dreams are your brain forming, solidifying new memories
Solidifying
Solidifying
new
new
memories.
memories.
that you made that day.
Like,
Why do you forget them then?
yeah, that's true. And also, you have some people have bizarre ass dreams, or some people don't even dream at all,
Some people don't
right?
dream. Yeah, some people don't dream at all. Some bizarre. Some people have dreams that affect them physically, like during their sleep.
Also,
It's like what? But what is it like? Really think about it. Really think about what I'm saying. It's like what is a dream? In and of itself, the concept is like what is a dream?
A dream occurs when your body is in REM.
It occurs, but what is it though? What
It,
is a dream? Well, like it's not because it's not anything
it's
tangible.
it's
What
when
is a dream?
your body is asleep, but your brain is awake, and it's creating these images in your mind.
It's yeah, exactly. It was like you're describing how it happens, and so like how it comes about in and of itself.
I think it's a culmination of all that you have experienced, and then in a random order, basically. Like that's what it is.
Because what we were saying before is basically a good analogy here would be that let's say you have a computer, right? But what you were explaining before was okay. I put the keyboard, I put the monitor, I put the CPU, and you're basically explaining how something's set up. But you're not explaining the concept of what a computer is. You know what I mean? You can have all the parts of like how something is made and how it comes from, but you might still not understand what the concept of the computer is, and that's what I mean by a dream. You have all these we have all these pieces of like okay, it happens when you're asleep, it happens during a REM cycle, happens through all of this, but the concept of a dream itself, what does that really mean? You know?
I don't know what you're asking really. Like, I then
Like okay,
I said yeah.
okay, let's like if you're let's say if you like you put a bunch of pieces of a computer in front of a monkey or something like that, right? They could see the keyboard, they would see the mouse, they would see everything, all the components of what of a computer, but they don't have they don't understand the concept of what a computer is. You know what I mean? You can or let's say it's not even a monkey, let's say to a child, to a kid. You put all these things together, all the components of a computer, and they could still not understand what a computer actually is.
That's true.
And that's what then that like there's the part of it that explains what it is, but then there's also the conceptual part of it where you actually understand okay, this is what this thing is in this world. This is what this thing means basically. Not necessarily how this thing was created or the parts of this thing, but what this thing means. So I guess what I'm trying to ask really is what does a dream mean?
I
What is
think
like what does dreams mean
it's
in
what it
concept?
is, what it
it,
is, what it
I don't
means.
know, man.
Probably doesn't mean anything. Why are
I
you
know that
assuming it means something?
the
Well, no,
Egyptians
I mean,
believed it
I'm
was
just posing the question. I'm not assuming it means anything. I'm just like, well, if it means something, what would it mean? What were you saying, Kunal? Sorry.
the Egyptians, I think, believed that it was like, I don't know, communication or some shit. It was used to communicate with the supernatural or something.
Yeah, well, they're
See.
all dead, so
No, but yeah, so that's would be an example of trying to give it meaning, or like trying to give saying what a dream is.
I think it's your conscious communicating with your subconscious, and they're all
Jesus.
mixing together, and that's the images that you see. Like you see, like, of course, everyone in there that has a dream before they experience a dream, they see people that they saw in real life.
Yeah.
But by the way, a fun fact is that in a dream, I read that in a dream, your mind is not capable of making up new faces. So
Mhm.
everyone you see in your dreams, every person that you saw in your dreams, you saw them
Someone
in
you've
real
seen
life
before.
before. You may not
Yeah.
remember them,
Yeah.
but you saw them,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Here,
Um,
I guess here's my issue with like this part of like just images and stuff. Because let's say for example a blind person who never in their life was able to see. They were born without the ability to see. How do they dream? What do they
fuck,
dream?
I gotta search that up right now.
How do they like? What is a dream to them at that point? That's why I've always been unsatisfied with this explanation that it's like images and pictures and things that you see, but not everyone sees, you know, and not everyone hears. You know, in a dream you hear shit. Not everyone
Right.
hears. Not everyone knows what things sound like, and not everyone
Exactly.
sees.
I guess a blind person just wouldn't see in their dream either,
They would just hear maybe.
and
So
they would just hear and smell
so
things.
what do they imagine? You know what I mean? Like you know how we imagine things in our head. We see the manifestation in an image. When people who has never seen something before, what do they see in that kind of inner brain? What is I'm guessing there's no actual image. They don't know what anything looks like in this world. They have no reference, and a brain is incapable of making something that's never seen before.
Damn.
Do they then see nothing at all, or
I
is it
mean, I would
abstract?
assume so. They would see
Yeah,
nothing, probably.
is it then abstract?
Abstract how?
Like it's abstract in maybe people who don't see like imagine things in their head by sound, not by images.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But then that begs the question: what if you can't see? Have never heard anything before? Then what do you imagine? Like, what do you see? What do you see? Air quotations in your head.
I don't know, man.
It's like people, it's like deaf people don't hear an inner voice in their head.
Yeah.
I think they just see the letters in their head or see the sign language in their head. I
Yeah,
think
probably
that's what
the sign
happens.
Yeah.
language in their head, or like letters, like braille, or not braille. Fuck.
Just
What the fuck?
letters, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
letters, I guess. But or maybe blind people like not feel braille, but like I guess think of braille when
Hmm.
they're
Some blind people can echolocate, like
what?
bats and shit.
Really?
Not as efficiently,
Mm.
but
Okay.
they can hear the sound waves bouncing off of shit, and then they can build like a mental image.
What what do they? What mental image do they make though? I don't know what it looks like.
Like they can gauge the distance and shit. Like
That's the thing is like all
they
they
know
know
there's a
that
wall there.
there's a wall, but they don't know what a wall looks like or what a wall is. Like they know what a wall is conceptually, but they don't know what it looks like or what it's supposed to look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. They
Because
don't know
like
what it looks
all
like.
they understand, oh, object here, but what this object is in their head?
Like a barrier. That's it.
Yeah,
Nothing else.
they can feel that it goes on for a little bit and there's nothing, but they don't know what color it is or like what it's made of or something like that. What do they see in
Exactly.
the center? Because we see shit and we see fucking a wall. We understand it conceptually what it looks like too. But if you've never seen one before and will never see one before, will never see one, then in your head, what is that like? You know. So that's why I've always been unsatisfied with this explanation. It's like, oh, it's just images and shit like that in your head, but that doesn't explain for everybody who does not see these things because they're not actually able to see it.
Yeah, this is getting too crazy now, man. I think we just better talk about something else.
Oh fuck you! This is awesome. This is interesting.
Fuck
I was
my
like,
brain.
and this is what I mean. Where like we don't know enough to really explain it. What consciousness is, what dreams are, what your brain actually does.
Yeah.
Fuck. My brain is tired
Of
about
thinking.
thinking about itself. And
It's kind of
Brain
fun.
is you.
No,
Brain
my
is the only
brain,
thing that's ever named itself.
my brain is me.
Yeah.
If you strip, like, if you did you guys ever see the picture of just like the brain and the eyeballs and all of um the spinal cord and all of the nerves coming out of it?
Yeah, sure. Let's say we did.
That's basically you.
Yeah.
Like you are your central nervous system, and you're also your peripheral nerve, I guess. But that's what you are, and everything else is just a meat sack around you. That's controlling.
Protecting.
So I guess that's the closest thing you could come to the mind, the nervous system.
Hmm.
Jeez.
If you ever seen it in real life before, it's crazy.
Have you seen
Well,
it in real life before?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, yeah. That's just crazy.
well, I guess that's why always people say is that you can transfer your brain to like a robot in the future and stuff.
Once we master brain transplants. By the way, like that Russian guy that was supposed to have a brain transplant, like, I don't know, I think he found a girlfriend or something, and he said, "Okay, I don't want to fucking do this
You say
shit."
by the way as if we know what the fuck that was in the first place. We didn't know what the hell that was. We didn't even know there was this Russian guy who's gonna do that.
He was gonna have a head transplant or a brain transplant or something. I think head transplant.
I don't think it'll ever work though, man.
But once it does work, or if it does work, that'll be like a big step forward for humanity.
Or silent.
Would it though? Would it like
Why wouldn't it?
okay, here it wouldn't be human anymore, really, technically, if you really like if we're gonna go for like in a biological sense and a philosophical sense, is a mind in a robot's body even a human being anymore?
Yeah,
I see why not. Yeah.
I,
I mean,
yeah,
because
Is
it's
yeah.
it
a
a
human's
human?
mind.
It's a
It's no.
human. It's a human, but instead of skin and mostly water, made of mostly water and oxygen and carbon, a carbon-based life form. Instead of all of that around it, it just has metal around it.
So
Yeah.
is a human is just a human in basic terms is just a nervous system then?
I'd say so, sure.
Yeah.
A human is just
Uh,
so any nervous
It's
system,
like
any nervous. But that
um
nervous system has to come from a body that is human. Because you can't just take any nervous system. Let's say you take a nervous system of a bear, then you put it into a fucking robot.
then it's a bear.
then it's a
bear. It's
bear.
a bear.
Then it's a
It's a
bear, yeah.
bear.
It's like, have you seen
But like
Titans?
it's a bear because it came from a bear. You know what I mean? Once you put it into like it's a
The
mind of
nervous
a
system
human.
is still a bear. But if you're
Yeah, no,
talking if you're
but like
talking about like the combination of the nervous system and the metal suit,
mm.
then it wouldn't be like a normal bear. It would be a cyborg bear.
But the only
Right.
reason you would know it's a bear is because you took it from a bear. Let's say you go into a room and you find a robot with just any brain. You don't know what that brain was before. Then what do you call that?
It's a
You
cyborg.
only you only know what it is for what it used to be.
It's a cyborg. Yeah.
It's just like it's
It's like have you
you
guys
went
seen Titans? Like
Titans.
from
Uh,
DC?
are you talking about the guy who's in Doom Patrol now? He's like that robot guy.
Yeah, his name is like Robot Man, I think.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
yeah, it's basically like him. Because I think in the show on like Netflix or whatever,
Mm,
he's a robot, right?
yeah,
But he's still human, but he's just in a like a robot's body, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's still human.
But I guess like that's my question. It's like it's only human because we know that that nervous system came from a human body.
Okay.
You know, your only frame of reference is of what that thing came before. And let's say you can put your brain into a bear's body. Are you then a human or a bear? Are you like
You're a human
Human.
in a in a
in a
bear's
bear's
body.
Yes,
They're-
it's
But
like
like,
Brother Bear, like the movie Brother Bear.
you only have that reference because of where it came from. Let's say at some point, um, there's no more like fleshy humans, right? It's like everyone's just like a robot human. Is that the new definition of what a human is then?
it, it wouldn't be the same as what it
It's an
is now.
evolved form of a human. It's a different kind of human.
It wouldn't be the same.
And so I mean, it's like it's not a human thing anymore. It's not like you wouldn't consider it a human no more.
What about people with prosthetics? Are they as human as anyone else, or are they not as human?
No, of course, they're still as human as we are.
But that okay, there's a difference between taking a brain out from a body and putting something in, and then having a body beforehand, and then part of it got like taken out. You know,
Why is that different?
it's different in the sense that you're not taking away the essential the combination of the two. Like you're not separating them. Something just got added on, basically.
You're taking part of it. You're taking part of it. So is that part of the if you take a part of someone's body and replace it with metal, are they less of a human?
No, I don't think so. No.
Let's see.
Are they less percent human?
Is there a percentage of human then?
I don't know.
I wouldn't say so. I think they're still as human as, someone with no prosthetics.
So
Human,
then,
the
so
human.
then, if you replace the whole body of the human with metal, then would they also be human?
I think yes. I would still say yes, they're still human.
I would also say yes. And Juan would say no.
I would say no, but it, like there's a leap between like one part and then like the whole completion of it that's different. Like over it's basically, let's say, like a progress bar from 0% to 100%, and that last bar, like that last percentage, seals that you're not human, like you're not human anymore, basically.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Shit.
Then there's the other arguments, like what, like should we even do that? Like what does that do?
Because the brain is just gonna wither away like any other biological carbon-based life.
I think the other thing is, like, can a human brain even handle living that long?
No. Well,
Essentially
we
go
don't
crazy.
know. No, but the brain is literally gonna rot away as
Mm.
time passes, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna age just like any other tissue,
Mm.
any other body tissue. So the next step is not just removing the physical brain and translocating the physical brain, but accessing the information stored within the brain.
Damn,
Just
that'll be
like
fucking insane.
it'll be just like in the future, or it should be, just like when someone plugs in their USB into your
Yeah.
computer,
Bro, what
and
was
you
that
can
shit?
see all their you
Altered
can see all
Carbon.
their files. You can see all their
Altered
files.
carbon, yeah.
Remember Altered Carbon? Like, if you guys
So
haven't seen that show, it's
so
fucking insane.
so basically, a human being is then able to their stored memories.
What?
Is that what a human being is then? All those stored memories and experiences.
Yeah, and basically like reflexes and shit that and instincts and all of these things that you you couldn't you couldn't categorize as memories, they would be like executables, like pissing and shitting dot exe,
So human
pissing and
so
shitting reflex exe,
pissing and
flight
shitting
fight
wouldn't even
fight
be a
or
thing.
flight response exe.
It
Um,
wouldn't
you
need any
you
of
know
this because it computer doesn't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, but
Like pissing and shitting, like that.
If you
wouldn't,
were, fuck.
doesn't need to. It won't be. It'll have a program that it can't even execute.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
no,
it just
I
needs
know
the
that, but I'm just talking about like
knowing what it is.
if you open up a brain, like if you access all of the information within the brain, my guess is it would probably be like a computer. Like if you open up, if someone plugs in their USB into your computer and you can see all their files, and that's
So,
what it would be like.
So human being is then a concept and not has nothing to do with biology.
No, like the brain
Like
stores information, and
yeah,
then
like
what's in the brain.
once you store that information though, then that's no longer biological.
Why not?
Because that information on a computer is not biology anymore.
Oh, you mean once you access it and take it out of the brain?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it would not be biological anymore.
So being a human being has nothing to do with biology then. Has nothing to do with.
It has now. It does, because we have biological brain and shit.
No, but like what you're saying though, to the micro level, a human being is stored memories and everything that has to do with that person, right? If you can take that out of a brain itself and store it on a computer, and that is still a human being, then being a human being has nothing to do with any biological stuff at all.
That would be I guess that would be a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
So then that assumes that human beings are just basically computers or a type of computer, but instead of hardware, we just have you know, we don't have hardware or soft. I think the brain could be what's in the brain could be software, and then like all the nerves and shit and all the tissue is hardware.
Yeah, bro. This conversation, bro.
But then it's like, can one work without the other then? Can software run without having hardware?
What if we create a computer that's powerful enough and efficient enough to do what the brain already does? then then you wouldn't need the brain.
So
like,
human beings are basically pointless, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
This is pointless existence. Yep, that's fair enough.
damn.
And
Okay.
I feel like on that mindfuck we can end
Today's episode.
because I feel like I'm currently having an existential crisis, or at least 3 at the same time. That shit is too fucking crazy.
Human beings are just biological machines, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Alright.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You guys just had. Okay, this is awesome.
Do you know like calcium is a metal, right?
Oh my god, fuck. Okay, Emil, we're fucking ending the episode.
Your bones are basically fucking metal, man. Like that's cool as shit. Well, not that. The chemistry majors don't fucking
trying
destroy
to
me,
end
please.
the episode here, man.
Okay, sorry.
Jesus fucking Christ.
We're all
Alright.
pointless. We're all pointless.
Alright, yeah, fine. Okay, officially, now. End of the episode. Thank you all for listening. Again, this is the
If you are still
Objective
listening.
podcast. If you're still listening, please don't listen. With your host Juan and Kunal and Emil.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here, and we'll catch you on the next time.
All right. Fellow
Yeah. Bye-bye.